good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back here again with another video. So, I'm going to check out the moment WWE ruined the Fiend Bray Wyatt. This is going to be an interesting video. I want to see what is brought up in this video, if it aligns with some of my theories on how I feel like WWE definitely ruined Bray Wyatt's gimmick and character and what they had in their hands when we started seeing who the Fiend was. I'm interested to see how this plays out, man. Appreciate all the love and support. Road to 50K, and let's get right into this video, man. Should be a good one.
The other day, I was thinking about a potential match card for SummerSlam with the current rumors surrounding the pay-per-view, as well as some of the ongoing segments over the last couple of weeks. And I noticed something very interesting. I did not even think about any plans for Bray Wyatt / The Fiend. My mind seriously forgot that he was even a part of the WWE for a minute. And when I finally did remember him, there wasn't anything really desirable or any match that I wanted to see with The Fiend. Bray Wyatt practically became an afterthought. It's such a crazy thing to think about because just a couple of years ago, he was arguably the hottest act of WWE. The Fiend was causing chaos with Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Daniel Bryan. 2 years later, and he's been gone from TV without any plans of bringing him back. For so long, I've tried to defend The Fiend. I still think he wasn't ruined when I made that video defending him a year ago. However, we're at the point where I think that WWE has finally ruined The Fiend. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the moment when WWE ruined The Fiend.
Rest in peace to the Fiend character. You had some great highlights, and then you had some great low moments. Jeez. One of them being losing a fucking old bird.
To do a follow-up on how to fix The Fiend if this video gets 7,000 likes, so make sure to drop
go check
a
out
like.
the original video.
Anyways, let's get right onto the video and analyze how
down
WWE ruined such an intriguing character like The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and like the video, even though it's not done. Go ahead and like this video, man. Y'all do the same if you check out the original video, which you guys should.
Before we get into The Fiend, we have to take a step back and look at 7 years of losses for Bray Wyatt. It all started in 2013 when Bray Wyatt made his debut alongside Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. The Wyatt family would attack Kane and kidnap him. It was the perfect way to debut such a creepy faction. Many people, including myself, had very high expectations for the future of his career. Wyatt had an interesting character with top-level microphone skills. He was also pretty decent in the ring. Bray Wyatt wasn't ever the best wrestler, but he still put on good matches with The Shield and Daniel Bryan. Finally, you add in the fact that he's got a cool faction around him, and that made Bray Wyatt essentially the complete package to become a main event player. He had all the right tools. It seemed like a no-brainer that the man would have a successful career in WWE.
The stars was aligned for him to do great in WWE. He was the next, like, scary guy. But it wasn't like the Undertaker type scary. It was more of like, I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's just like he was unsettling. You didn't want to be alone with him and, you know, his followers. Like, it just worked. Because, wrestling, you can get away with characters like that. But WWE did not capitalize when they should have capitalized. AKA allowing John Cena to lose to Bray Wyatt. I believe that was at WrestleMania 30. That's when they should have pulled the trigger, have him beat John Cena. That would have been perfect.
The creative team just needed to properly book him. However, they miserably failed with him for 7 long years. It's quite sad when you think about it. Each year, WWE cared less and less about Bray Wyatt, and he would suffer losses against practically everyone. The first major loss came at WrestleMania 30 in his biggest match ever against John Cena.
The promos alone was so good. Promos leading to that was great.
It was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in a marquee match at WrestleMania 30, the anniversary, the 30th year anniversary, and Bray Wyatt desperately needed this victory in order to make him look like a star, and you would think that Vince McMahon would have been wise enough to give him that victory, but he wasn't. Bray Wyatt lost the match and was viewed as an afterthought slash a loser slash a joke. 2014 would continue to be a year full of L's to the point where he became damaged goods. The Wyatt family even split up after that for a bit. The family was no more. In 2015, he tried to bounce back. Bray Wyatt was featured in an important WrestleMania 31 match against The Undertaker. This was 1 year after both men suffered huge losses in the previous WrestleMania. Vince McMahon booked The Undertaker to pick up the victory, and Wyatt was left a loser yet again. The rest of 2015 wasn't too pretty for Bray Wyatt either. He entered a feud with Roman Reigns, he won some matches, but Roman Reigns ultimately looked strong in the end. Braun Strowman would be introduced to the group, but that didn't do too much with the wrestling community. A lot of people didn't care about Bray Wyatt at the time, if we're being completely honest. The Wyatt family still...
Yeah, no one cared about Braun when he first came in. They was like, we don't care. Because, hell, Bray can't get the wins he needs to get. He can't get the wins he needs. So does it really matter if you add someone else new to the faction?
Suffered some losses against the Brothers of Destruction and the Shield. 2015 was a decent year, but Wyatt was still very far from the main event scene. 2016 was a bit better. The Wyatt family were trying to cause chaos in that year, but The Rock made them look like fools at WrestleMania. But what are you going to do? It's The Rock. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, because he is The Rock. The New Day beat them, and that was that. The draft split them up for a bit. However, it looked like things were going his way in 2017, and Bray Wyatt was even the new WWE champion, winning the title at Elimination Chamber, and people believed that the company finally saw that he was the main event talent that...
I remember that SmackDown, the "You Deserve It" chants, when he came out there, crowd chanting, "You got the whole world in his hands." I get goosebumps thinking about that, because that was his moment. That's what he needed. That's what he deserved. And they still dropped the ball with him.
Everyone knew he was. Well, we were unfortunately wrong about that, because his title reign did not last more than a month before he dropped it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33. It was a horrible decision, and Bray Wyatt never recovered from that loss. 2017 and 2018 were full of losses, and I think this is where Bray Wyatt was at the rock bottom of his career. And so he took some time away from TV because he honestly needed a break to rejuvenate himself, to get fresh, and to start thinking about new ideas.
Hence, the Fiend is born.
Looking for car insurance?
The Fiend
that's
character
modern?
came in at a right time because he was just not going nowhere.
During that time away from TV, Bray Wyatt was met with a stroke of genius for his next character. Wyatt developed a Mr. Rogers personality. However, deep down, there was a very evil energy that was being covered by this facade. That monster was later revealed to be the Fiend. The WWE Universe was never exposed to something so terrifying and horrifying. The Fiend was the alter ego of Bray Wyatt. In essence, the Fiend was created through 7 years of pain and trauma, and now Bray Wyatt was coming back for some revenge. He attacked Kane on an episode of Raw. He destroyed Finn Balor at SummerSlam. He pushed Seth Rollins to the edge at Hell in a Cell.
This is, for me, really irritated me. That Hell in a Cell match, just, oh my God, it pissed me off, bro. It pissed me off. The booking of it wasn't too well. It was cool to see the Fiend, but you know, in action, like with, you know, for a championship, granted, I do think it was too soon. I definitely do think it was too soon for him to even be going for the championship at the time. They made him damn near invincible. He took how many stomps to the head, how many steel chairs, and he did not, like, they made him too invincible. You know what I'm saying? They should have just had him dominate. If you're going to have him in that match, the crowd only wanted one thing. That was for Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, to win. So you should have just had him destroy Seth Rollins instead of him taking endless amount of finishers and kicking out everything. WWE dropped the ball on this.
He won the Universal Championship, proving that he could win some
Finally.
gold. He targeted The Miz's child. He brutalized Daniel Bryan. The Fiend was on a dominant path. I've never seen fans so invested in a character in a really long time, and everything was going so great until
fucking Goldberg. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro.
Goldberg came around. WWE was hosting their Saudi pay-per-view event, and the main event of that show saw Goldberg defeat The Fiend for the Universal title, which many consider to be a massive mistake. In fact, people viewed this loss as the moment that ruined The Fiend, but I would disagree with that fact. As stupid as that was, he bounced back at WrestleMania 36. The Fiend would wrestle John.
That was the only saving grace. That was the only saving grace. That match The Fiend had with John Cena was actually pretty cool. It was for the pandemic era of wrestling we was in. That was actually unique, very cool, and I enjoyed that. Should it have happened at WrestleMania 30 in front of a live crowd? Yes, but other than that, I definitely enjoyed that. But up to that point, he was dead to me because he lost to fucking Goldberg, bro. I was done.
Cena in the first ever Firefly Funhouse match, and I think it was incredible because I loved every second of that match. It was honestly brilliant. The Fiend then went on to feud with Braun Strowman, which was also really good. I enjoyed that feud as well. The Fiend actually went on to become the Universal Champion again at SummerSlam, so I don't think he was ruined because of WWE's excellent booking following that horrendous Goldberg match. With that being said though, we have to sadly now discuss what ruined this very captivating character.
What is his definition of what ruined him? I want to know.
I think the moment that ruined him might be a bit controversial, but it has to be said. WWE ruined The Fiend the minute that Roman Reigns returned and attacked him at SummerSlam. It was the moment that WWE decided to shift their focus from The Fiend to Roman Reigns. The tribal chief was now the most important asset to the WWE. The creative team no longer had that same sense of urgency to make Bray Wyatt a superstar. That was now Roman Reigns. This was even more evident when you see that WWE didn't care about The Fiend losing his championship the next week. It's even more clear when you see that WWE pretty much dropped Bray Wyatt's storyline with Roman Reigns instantly sending him over to Raw without caring. I hate to say it because I love his current run, but Roman Reigns unfortunately ruined The Fiend.
I guess you could say that, technically. I guess. Granted, me personally, I don't really agree with it too much, only because I felt like he had already taken some losses that he shouldn't have taken. The Goldberg moment was, in a lot of people's eyes, what ruined The Fiend. Yes, he did have a fantastic match with John Cena, like that little Firefly Funhouse match. It was dope. It was fantastic. But at the same time, you know, it people still remembered. And then the whole feud with Braun, that was cool, but not too many people weren't really invested because it was like, we really don't too much care. And I guess, in a sense, Roman Reigns coming back, destroying him, and getting the title off of him in the way he did, it was like, I guess you could say that makes sense. And how it was just like the nail in the coffin, like, oh yeah, Bray's done because he just got eviscerated. I can see that, but I feel like it's just been a culmination of poor booking decisions for months and months and months and months and months, to the point where people had already given up. And then once Roman came back, no one really cared anymore because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, Bray sometimes does win, but he's not as scary as he used to be. The gimmick doesn't work anymore because it doesn't have that fear factor behind it. And let's not get started with the Alexa Bliss stuff. Oh my God.
After moving Bray Wyatt over to Raw, they ruined him even more by putting him in that storyline with Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton.
Originally,
it had
it was
a little potential.
Cool.
It had a cool moment where we saw The Fiend being burnt alive, but they botched his return. And WrestleMania 37 did not do him any favors either.
It did not.
Alexa Bliss turned on him, stole his gimmick, and we have not seen him since. People don't really care about The Fiend anymore because we just don't see him anymore. And it really sucks, but that is the sad reality. Thankfully, I do have some good news. WWE can fix the Fiend, and I will explain that in a later video. Anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed.
This was dope, man. Definitely enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the original video. Go check it out, if you choose to. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to go with Goldberg being the main reason why it was the downfall for him. That and the simple fact of how they had booked him in certain matches, and also Roman Reigns coming back does play a part in it. But at this point, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, was already a gimmick that people were kind of not invested in. So Roman coming out there to, get the title off him, people kind of was happy with. They just was trying, they were happy to see Roman back, you know what I'm saying? So they were just really like, yo, get the strap off him, screw it, let's see what happens. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to give Goldberg, in my personal opinion, Goldberg was kind of the thing that really just, I didn't care too much about the Fiend. Whether he won a championship or not, I just didn't care, because it's like, he's not that imposing anymore, the way I looked at it. So comment down below, let me know what was the thing that you guys believe ruined the Fiend. Do you guys believe it was what happened to him at Hell in a Cell that ruined his momentum? Do you guys believe it was the Goldberg situation that ruined his momentum? Do you guys believe it was Roman Reigns coming back ruining his momentum? Hey, I would like to get y'all thoughts and opinions on that. But I appreciate all the love, man. Road to 50K, we're almost there. Appreciate, the support, man. You guys are amazing, man. And I appreciate y'all kicking it with me. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.